Do you remember what it was like being a kid? Do you remember how you had to wake up early, sometimes even before the sun had come up, to get ready to go to school? A place that you'd come to dislike as the years had rolled on. A place where they put information in your head that you couldn't care less about. Your only reprieve during the day was a brief bit of recess, which was a luxury that was ripped away little by little, as they wanted to prepare you for more and more tests. In these times, it felt like imagination was all that you had to carry you forward to the next day. You were able to make the world so much more exciting in your head. You'd be thinking of schools for learning magic over math. Those dishes that you hated cleaning, they'd become the centerpiece of a game of baseball. And that bedtime that your parents saddled you with? What if that was their bedtime? Then maybe you'd think, what if you were the one in charge? I want to bring that thought to life with a show that I call Growing Around. It's planned to be a cartoon about an energetic and wildly imaginative little girl named Sally Dunn as she navigates issues of family, friends, and her typical daily life in a world where kids make all of the rules. They run the schools, the homes, the towns, and the countries. It sounds like it would be a world of fun and games, and some days it is, as Sally helps her parents with their homework, like getting the highest score in the latest video game, or creating the absolute best superhero identity. But even a world of fun and games isn't always fun and games. Childhood is a time of extremes, and Growing Around takes these fantasies and removes the safety brakes. A simple game of tag could drive an entire city into the apocalypse. After all, if you want the game to end, you're probably just the person who's it, and is tricking them into being tagged. Growing Around builds the world that kids would create if they did have the power and just runs with it. In this world, if you want that new top-of-the-line toy that's being blasted out on all of the commercials, you can buy it. In fact, you've gotta buy it. After all, your boss only wants to promote the coolest kid in the building. And let's just say that he's been having a few tantrums about it as of late. A brother and sister start fighting over a cereal box toy. With no parents to break them up, they do the only logical thing they can think of: go to court! At its core, Growing Around is a show about growing up. And growing up is difficult. We all know that. You learn that even your best friends sometimes move on and move away. That the people in charge don't always have your best interests in mind. It's a time of self-discovery as you come to terms with your direction in life, your identity, and your place in the world. Growing Around is a show that tackles these issues without sugarcoating or kid gloves, but it needs your help to come into existence. This show is a culmination of 4 years of work. I've been at it writing dozens of scripts and fine-tuning the world and the characters to perfection. However, there is one hurdle that is yet to be crossed, and that's the financial one. Growing Around is a series that isn't going to be afraid of touching any issue. Topics of sexuality, gender, existential crisis, cultural identity, death, regret, they will all be subjects of episodes. The freedom from executive control is paramount to making the show work the way that it was intended to be. This is why I am planning on using Indiegogo. This particular crowdfunding campaign will be for the pilot episode entitled Max's Many Birthdays. After it's produced, I am going to give the series Growing Around its own Patreon to keep it going. The money that's being raised is going to go entirely into the show, mainly the animation budget. In return for your donation, we have many great rewards available. We have t-shirts, show accurate to the main characters, posters that I will personally sign, art of you and your characters in the style of the show, and many more perks that you can check out on our Indiegogo page. To clear up any confusion, if this pilot does get funded, I am not going to be putting it behind a paywall or anything. The pilot will go up right here on my YouTube page and on my website. My dream is in your hands now. And thank you for listening.